look at how Wolong recycling station was established at a former foreclosed house. City volunteers conduct preliminary survey for Sunday Love in winter in Guangzhou, China. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. In Taipei City, land in Daan district is very expensive, and it is very difficult to find a suitable place to establish a recycling station. Despite these challenges, city volunteers have established Wolong Recycling Station, which was a former foreclosed house. For more than 10 years, seniors come volunteering every day, and many residents who have health problems have also found a new life meaning through recycling.
卧龙街有一间法拍，这也是一个道教的。
There was a foreclosed house on Wolong Street, and it was a Taoist cultivation ground. There are more than 50 deity statues inside. I was happy to see that. Most people do not dare to make a bid. I was happy. As Buddhist practitioners, we are not afraid.
一定不敢惊，我有这种欢喜，咱信佛的，咱唔惊。
When I was in elementary school, this area was full of graves. They lined up one by one. They were not stairs. We could only step on the graves to go up the mountain.
In the beginning, I was afraid, as there are so many funeral parlors here. Now I'm used to it, and I think the place is blessed. When I first came here, this Bodhisattva was already here. We're grateful to be here with him, really.
咱这边足感恩的，应该斗阵大家安尼共同住在一起，真的
这边就是坟墓区。
This is the graveyard. After they moved the graves, this place has turned into Fuzhou Shan Park. This is brother Fu Huoyan. He is 92 years old. Since the recycling station was established, he has never been absent. It's the bicycle repair section. These are PET bottles, which can be turned into blankets. They are placed here. This is our Buddha hall. Speakers and computers are placed there. They are all placed here. The recyclables are stacked up high. It is dangerous to climb up there, so we must wear a safety belt. It is safe to have a safety belt as we load or unload items from the recycling truck. So, I thought of using a recycled escape sling, wearing the safety belt. Volunteers would be very safe. Do as much as you can. No one will force you to do it. The more I do, the more I gain.
I'm 89 years old, and I took 2 buses coming from Wanhua for the vegetable wholesale market. As I ride on the bus, I can watch the sceneries. Walking is like exercising. Coming to the recycling station to volunteer, I'm very happy.
In 1994, I suffered stroke because of heart problems. Back then, I was 39 years old. When I first began to step on PET bottles, I felt that I lacked strength. After doing it for a while, my feet gained strength, so I continued to step on PET bottles, and my health improved.
所以我就一直踩，一直踩，不知不觉身体就好起来了。
我是那么爱漂亮的一个人，我怎么可以
I love to look beautiful. How could I possibly pick up these bottles and cans? I felt that only I myself know what I truly want. This way my life can be fulfilling. Coming to the recycling station has calmed my mind.
我的人生才能够圆满。环保站真的是安我心的地方。
In Daxi, Taoyuan, there are 3 brothers who cannot clean up their home because they have health problems. City volunteers have joined hands with the borough chief to help clean up their living environment. They've also brought their brothers hospital beds so they can sleep more comfortably. 3 brothers live on the first floor of an old house. Their mattresses are placed on the first floor, and they've been sleeping on them for 10 years. The living environment has become messier.
All 3 of them are men and they all have health problems. We found that their living environment is very poor. People who are sick need a refreshing environment. More than 30 volunteers washed the screen windows and door. After moving out the tables and chairs, they also cleaned the floor thoroughly. They even brought hospital beds for them. They used to sleep on the spring mattresses on the ground. They need hospital bed. So, we helped them apply for hospital beds from the assistive device platform. The youngest brother has been hospitalized due to heart disease, so city volunteers specially came to care and found out his family needs more help. Therefore, they work with the borough chief to clean up the environment for them. After they clean up, the environment has become more refreshing and patients can feel good about it. This way, they will recover faster. As the 3 brothers support each other, volunteers will continue to accompany them, bringing more liveliness to this family. There's a father and son living in Guangzhou, Taiwan, who never took out their garbage. So much garbage had been accumulated that the front door could not open. It took city volunteers many hours to clean up this house.
The door can't be opened because there are so many plastic bottles behind it.
The house is a mess. It's like garbage has been accumulated for years. It's like nobody has lived here.
This is the house of 19-year-old Mr. Du and his father. They have lived here for 7 years, but they have never cleaned it. There are roaches and mice crawling everywhere. So how can Mr. Du and his father live here? His father has been in prison since early July. 50 Tzu Chi volunteers are mobilized today to clean this house.
When he was little, his parents didn't teach him, so every time he finishes eating, he doesn't know he should put the waste in the trash can.
There is just too much garbage, so one volunteer brought his son, who was just discharged from the military, to help with the cleanup.
They were students, so they didn't have this chance, but now they have graduated.
I also did something similar in the military, so there's no problem at all.
The care recipient is about my age, so I feel being able to come and help them is a great opportunity.
After one morning, the volunteers have finally cleaned away all the garbage.
If you need me to help you with anything, just go ahead and tell me.
The volunteers and Mr. Du have agreed to help someone the next time. His home is not clean, so is his heart, so he can start living a new life.
Team members provide free clinics in Shuangxi regularly. On their recent trip, they divided into 10 teams to provide house calls. Some medical volunteers even brought their children along so that the young volunteers can learn from this experience. Despite having angiomas on his legs and a wound that hasn't healed for 10 months, Uncle Jen still wears rain boots to work every day. The doctor gives suggestions with care. Feeling the doctor's concern, Uncle Jen finally puts on canvas shoes.
You've come to care for us wholeheartedly. When old people don't understand something, you will explain it clearly and provide good treatment.
Team members regularly go to Shuangxi to provide medical care. During the summer vacation, doctors have also brought their children. Seeing the seniors, the young volunteers' hearts go out to them.
I will act as her grandchild so grandma can be happier. People in remote regions need medical resources, so we should help them.
多多帮助他们。
The air recipients usually live alone or they live with their spouses. I have discovered that as people come to care for them, they can talk with people and alleviate their discomfort. Medical volunteers will tell them what to do and help seniors live a better life.
Besides providing house calls, the medical volunteers also serve at fixed location. The Dental 007 free clinic suitcase weighs more than 13 kilograms and contains all the necessary equipment.
There are teeth cleaner, teeth grinder suction tube, and halogen light. The light can be set up.
Despite the long distances, medical volunteers serve the seniors with joy as they pledge to continue to safeguard the health of the local residents.
In July, Tima's free dental cleaning service was finally resumed for the Genesis Social Welfare Foundation Vegetative Nursing Home in Banqiao. 8 dentists went there to clean the teeth of vegetative patients.
There are 8 dentists as well as dental assistants and Tzu Chi volunteers. After terminating for half a year, Tima in the North District finally resumed the free clinic at the Genesis Social Welfare Foundation Vegetative Nursing Home in Banqiao.
I'm happier than going to work. I won't get up so early if I go to work. I also want to stay in bed as we're living a comfortable life.
Most residents tend to get nervous easily, and Tima medical staff and volunteers comforted and guide them patiently. There were even 2 dentists treating the same resident together.
I cleaned the teeth that I could see, whereas for those I couldn't, I asked Dr. Zheng to do it at the same time, even though it would be more tiring to work together like this, and we have relatively little time to rest. This can get better results and is very ideal for the residents.
The dentist Xia Yiran, who practices medicine with both sensibility and rationality, said that we should always have empathy with the patients.
In a vegetative state, the mouth of resident is usually tightly closed. It's not easy to clean the teeth, so there are a lot of dental calculus. If we can come here to do the cleaning every 6 months, the bacteria on these dental calculus are less likely to get into the resident's blood, which can reduce the chance of getting inflammation. So I always put myself in their shoes when cleaning their teeth.
Receiving the same medical service, vegetative patients should feel the love and care provided by Tima members.
The rapid development of Nansha and Guangzhou also highlights the gap between the rich and poor. City volunteers cooperated with the Taiwan Association of Nansha District to conduct a preliminary survey for sending love in winter.
Tzu Chi volunteers visit Daan Nansha District for the first time. Among them, 70-year-old Mr. Ma and his wife take care of a son with a mental disability, a daughter-in-law with multiple diseases, and a 1-year-old granddaughter. The family of 5 is poor due to illness.
My daughter-in-law takes medicine every day and takes a lot of medicine. It's so troublesome. I spend tens of thousands renminbi for her illness. I've used up all of my savings, and I have to borrow money from others.
The wall is full of medicine bags, writing down the time, quantity of medicine, as if it is recording the burden of this family.
Life will always encounter some difficulties, but there are always more solutions than difficulties. You see, this home is well organized by you.
As a Taiwanese businessman, Tzu Chi volunteer Lin Chunyi upholds a heart of giving back and cooperates with Taiwanese Association to facilitate this initial survey before winter.
Master often teaches to step on other people's land and use others' resources, so we have to care for local poor households. To help all the people in these poor households is a part of our responsibility as volunteers. Nansha is a place with outstanding people, although many places are now built with tall buildings, which forms a strong contrast with these low-income households. They need everyone's care.
I hope that our children can also be influenced by city volunteers from an early age. They've been caring since they were young and hoping that they will be able to help others when they grow up in the future.
成就有这个余热可以去帮到别的人。
Grandma Lu, who is her 60s, has worked so hard to raise her grandson. A word of thanks moves everyone.
奶奶听你讲这句话，她什么苦都会忍。是不是奶奶？心都宽了，对不对？
Witness people's suffering, volunteers learn to cherish their own blessings.
In China, over half of the students of Phoenix Elementary in Chongqing come from impoverished backgrounds. The principal gave up her salary, but is still very dedicated to her job. City volunteers also visited the families to listen to their needs.
Phoenix Elementary, a privately owned school, is located on the rooftop of a two-story market. The school is put together by iron sheets and the desks are in dire need of replacement, but it doesn't stop the 225 students coming to class each day.
This is the very best for us. This is considered the best placement of our Phoenix Elementary. In the past, it was really just in some corner of a structure. This place actually looks like a school.
Over half of the students of the school come from impoverished backgrounds. The principal gives up her paycheck, and there is a group of teachers with plenty of love, all there to ensure the students receive a proper education. City volunteers pay visits to the students' homes, listening to their plights and meeting Zhang Mingxing, who is the pride of this family.
At home, I like to do household chores and help out my mother. I listen to what my mother and teachers teach me to do.
Thanks to her education, Zhang can one day fulfill her dream.
The epidemic has severely hit Thailand. The life of the refugee there are becoming harder. So the Thailand chapter paid home visits to each household and gave them daily supplies.
Lai Hu is busy working in the field every day to sustain his family, which depends on a piece of land provided by a kind-hearted person. Although the family is self-sufficient, the life is still miserable.
COVID-19, yeah, we chop less. We just stay at home. We don't know how to do. Yeah, we're looking for some garden, yeah, some place. If we don't have the money, go to markets and buy something, we just do like this.
The epidemic has swept through the country, and the lives of the refugees living in Thailand become even harder. It is common to see kids suffer from illness and starve in such kind of family.
It's 37.2 degrees. His body temperature is a bit high.
This little child has had fever since yesterday. His mother said because she didn't have money, so she would give him the old medicine. We will send his information back as soon as possible so as to arrange medical treatment in Bangkok for him.
Volunteers also send them meal formula to alleviate their urgent needs. Seeing the hard life of the refugee families, volunteers prepare to continuously host aid distributions for 2 months.
Today we distribute milk formula for 2 months to 0 to 1 year old babies, and each of them can get 2 boxes. From 1 to 3 year old babies, we will give them 4 boxes because they eat more.
I'm very happy and thank you, Tzu Chi. Without your help, I wouldn't be able to provide milk formula for my child.
Feeling the warmth of love in a foreign country, these refugees can be brave to face the difficulties in their lives.
During the epidemic, people who make a living by operating stalls and markets faced financial difficulties. As crowds were not allowed to gather, their incomes decreased tremendously. How did these people rise above this challenge? Let's take a look at their stories.
In the past, there were 4 to 5 classes a week. Now there's only 1 left.
She's left with one teaching opportunity a week. Although it takes 2 hours round trip to go to Zhanghua from Taichung, she cherishes the opportunity and does not complain. What she cares about is how to make up for the financial loss caused by the epidemic.
After the epidemic broke out, her stalls have been canceled. The entire sales went down.
I took up random cases and sold whatever I could sell. Some people wanted second-hand clothes, so I sold them at cheap price. The 2 babies told me with consideration, "Mom, take a break. Don't be so tired."
This strong single mother teaches lessons about running handicraft stalls to support her family. She has not joined a union and does not have social insurance or savings. She has struggled to apply for economic impact payment.
Oftentimes, it's difficult to provide proof. I have called to ask about it 5 times, and I've been to district office. The wholesaler sometimes requires that he does not provide receipt, but he can give me a discount.
Since the Lunar New Year to May or June, Mrs. Liao has struggled to get by.
We provide assistance such as emergency financial aid, epidemic prevention, subsidies, and epidemic prevention supplies.
Mrs. Liao is a key recipient of the Taiwan Fund for Children and Families that provided timely help to help her face financial difficulties.
In the worst case, I only sold 1 or 2 pastries a day.
Bakery owner Mr. Chen and his family of 3 have desserts in the refrigerator, are all waiting for customers.
Customers and my father like to eat fruit tarts and lemon tarts.
While it should be crowded and noisy at markets, it was unusually quiet.
Although we mostly go to cultural and creative market, our work belongs to food industry, so we cannot apply for economic impact payment from Ministry of Culture.
They plan to open their shop at the end of the year, then their saving was strained. Lastly, they applied for economic impact loans, but they worried that their application would not pass. Worries came one after another.
Fortunately, the result came out. We feel relieved. I felt so much pressure because paying for house payment drains my savings.
Despite the financial difficulties, they have learned to adjust their operations. Now they've strengthened their internet platform marketing, and together with their faith, they'll eventually overcome these challenges.
Tzu Chi Taichung Continuing Education Center recently held their achievement performance at Taichung Jingsi Hall. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.